विज्ञान और अध्यात्म के इस सेशन में माननीय मंत्री डॉक्टर जितेंद्र सिंह जी, रामकृष्ण मठ पुणे के अध्यक्ष श्रीकंठानंद जी महाराज और डॉक्टर सतीश रेड्डी जी का मंच पर स्वागत। 2011 से पुणे रामकृष्ण मठ के अध्यक्ष के नाते वहाँ कार्यरत है और हमारा सौभाग्य है कि इस विषय पर साइंस एंड स्पिरिचुअलिटी इस विषय पर बोलने के लिए आज श्रीकंठानंद जी महाराज यहाँ पर पधारे हैं। मैं
सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। डॉक्टर जितेंद्र सिंह जी, मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट फॉर साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी, डॉक्टर विजय भटकर, डॉक्टर विश्वनाथ करट जी, देन डॉक्टर सतीश रेड्डी, डॉक्टर शेखर मंडे and other dignitaries on the dais. I am very happy to be here to address enlightened audience before me. This is a 6th convention of Vidnyan Bharati. Every year they are conducting such convention and people from throughout India, they participate in this convention. The idea is to spread science and technology to every school and colleges and to make our people aware about science. Swami Vivekananda also was thinking in same line when Swamiji said, we want Western science and technology coupled with Vedanta. So we want both. We want Western science and technology along with Indian spirituality. So today I have to speak on science and spirituality. This is my subject. So Vidnyan Bharati is doing wonderful work. So Vidnyan Bharati has started mobile labs. They go to different schools and there they spread the message of science. I request them, they should start another one vehicle also, that is Vidnyan Bharati, that Samstha is there. Now along with Vidnyan, Adhyatma Bharati also should be there. So only we should not teach them material sciences. Along with that they should know spiritual science also, because spirituality also is a one type of science. So our young people, they know about science but they don't know about spirituality and culture. Swami Vivekananda, when he went round the country as a wandering monk, he saw everywhere poverty, everywhere illiteracy, ignorance, superstition, all problems he saw. Then he was thinking what to do. He went to Kanyakumari and sat on that rock. There he meditated 3 days and then he realized that to remove poverty from India, we need science and technology. Without science and technology, we cannot develop our material condition. But Swamiji said, I will go to America. There is a convention, Dharma Sabha, Sarva Dharma Mahasabha in Chicago. I will go to that. I will give them our Vedanta. They need Vedanta very much. And in return, I will get science and technology so that they will also benefited and we also will get benefit. With this idea, Swamiji went to America. And when he went to America, he saw that America was a very developed country. Everything was there. People were very rich. They are leading a very comfortable life. Therefore, he did not speak about material sciences. There he spoke about spiritual science. And that also with scientific temperament. You see, we have spirituality. But it was Swami Vivekananda first time went to America and deliver Vedanta, deliver Indian spirituality in English language and with a logical basis. So people, they liked it, they encouraged, they were inspired, and thousands of people used to attend his classes. So that was Swami Vivekananda's impact. So he spread Vedanta everywhere. And when Swamiji was going to America from Japan, in that ship Jamshedji Tata was there. And he was going to other countries to import something. Then Swamiji said, Jamshedji, you are going to other countries and you are purchasing goods and selling in India. Why don't you start in India itself something? You start small industry. You can start one science research institute. Then Jamshedji liked that idea. He came back to India and he started thinking on that line. He requested Swamiji, you be the director of this institute. Swamiji said, no, being a sannyasi, I cannot become a director. And then Jamshedji Tata started Science Institute of India in Bangalore. And today also it is there. So Swamiji wanted that. Even Moksha Gundam Vishweshwaraya, he also said, India has poverty and it is a poverty is a disease and it can be cured. If we develop science and technology, this disease we can cure. So it is not that it is not possible to remove this poverty. And he was a great scientist, he was an engineer, he was a Bharat Ratna. He did lot of work in India. In Hyderabad, Hussain Sagar, Himayat Sagar, all these tanks, big tanks to supply the water, it was made by Vishweshwaraya. So he used that knowledge. There was no cement those days, but out of Surki he constructed a big dam on Kaveri. Karnataka, Krishna Devaraya Dam. Now more than 100 years over, it is intact. You see, he was thinking about developing India with the help of science and technology. At the same time, he had a wonderful character. So, he was totally dedicated to India's progress. Along with that, there was integrity, unselfishness. Many wonderful qualities were there. So he also expressed same way that to develop India materially, we need science and technology, and now we find we are developing in every aspect. But then in Vedic time also, we were very advanced. We have given zero to the world in mathematics, in astronomy, in biology, in physics. We have given so much knowledge to the world. Means our material sciences were also well developed. Our sages discovered those things. Even Ayurveda, you see, the medicine system was so much developed in those days. That was India's past. But meanwhile, what happened? The foreigners came and conquered this country. We became slaves. And they wanted to destroy everything good in us. And they started attacking our schools, our colleges, our literature, our everything. And they wanted to introduce their culture. They stopped Sanskrit Pathshalas and they started opening convents and started giving education in English. And therefore, we were very much charmed We thought that is what we want to develop. And slowly, our younger generation was forgetting this great cultural heritage and spiritual heritage. And there was need of a person like Swami Vivekananda to harmonize both science and technology. Because our scriptures are not against science. Even Shankaracharya says, Dvedoi Vedokto Dharma, Pravritti Lakshana, Nivritti Lakshana. The dharma is twofold, that is material prosperity and spiritual enlightenment. So we have to develop both. You see, we were fighting with sword and the other countries they were fighting with guns, and we thought we should not go outside of the country, we should not cross the ocean, they are all mlechyas. So this idea we developed. And Swamiji said, when we stopped going outside, when we isolated ourselves, the India's fate was sealed. We could not make any progress because we totally isolated from other developed countries. Now that was a great mistake. First time Swamiji went to America, and there he did not speak about science, though he met scientists. Even Tesla Swamiji met there. His thinking was scientific thinking. So there he found everywhere is so much of luxury, so much of progress, development. There was no poverty, no illiteracy. He was very much impressed. He said, this is what India wants, to develop materially. Why India should suffer? In my country, even dogs should not go hungry. When somebody asked Swamiji, why don't you preach religion in India? Swamiji said, my people, they don't want religion, they want bread. It is an insult to teach religion, to teach God to the empty stomach. First they want bread, that is their God. So first we have to satisfy them. Empty stomach is not fit for religion. Let them have material things, then they will think about the spiritual things. So this was Swamiji's thinking. So that time India was not ready to take Vedantic ideas because there was so much of poverty and illiteracy. Who will understand these ideas? But in America and Europe, people were intelligent, highly educated, and there was no poverty. And because of so much of luxury, they were in restlessness. They had no peace. They wanted peace. They said, we have enjoyed this world, but we could not get that peace. Where we will get real peace and happiness? And that real peace and happiness only Vedanta can give. Only spirituality can give. That Swamiji told them, and they became Swamiji's followers. They gave a lot of money to Swamiji to develop India. So here, to develop India, we need science and technology. Western science coupled with Vedanta. Now we are developing in every aspect. Now science has developed so much in India. Everywhere you find, even army, air force. So in our defense system, we have improved so much. Now in every aspect, even to develop our agriculture, we need so many machineries, we need so many equipment. So then only India will be Atmanirbhar. So India should grow in every aspect, and we have to make use of science and technology because our population is constantly growing. So we need computers, we need this communication, we need industries so that we can feed our people. That is very essential. But then we should not think that is everything, because science, what science is doing, science is inventing things in material world. This science is material, so it is trying to find out the truth in nature. So in nature, by developing scientific approach, because here you can experiment, you can show and that applied science is technology. Pure science will discover and then the technology will be there to utilize that. So that science is very easy because there we have so many things. We have microscope, we have so many things, satellite and all. Through that we can discover. But spiritual truths are very subtle. No external things can help us. Only through mind we have to realize that. And our sages, they paid more attention to the spiritual aspect. Because after all, material development, material progress, that will help us. But that cannot give us eternal peace. They have realized. Now, to a certain extent, the science has removed our fear. But the great fear is the fear of death. That they are not able to remove. When Nachiketa, he was a young boy, sadhaka, he went to Yama. And he said, "Sir, I want to know the truth of death, mystery of death." Some people say that after death there is nothing. Some say that after death there is something. What is correct? What is truth about it? Yamraj says, Guru said, "My boy, you are such a young boy. Don't ask this question. You can ask me anything. You want land, you want property, you want a beautiful wife, or whatever, you want long life, healthy life. Whatever you want, I will give you in this world. But this truth is very difficult, even the God they do not know. So don't ask me this question." Nachiketa said, "You may give me everything, but they are all perishable. They are not going to remain permanently. Then what is the use? Even if I take, they will go away. I may live for 100 years, but after 100 years I will have to die. So I don't care for anything." That was his approach. That means he wanted to know the truth beyond this nature. Nature is giving us many truths, and that is also necessary. But that we are discovering truth with the help of senses. But that truth which is beyond senses and beyond mind, that is very difficult to discover. And our sages have done that. So therefore, this world we need material progress. We need to develop. We have to develop because we cannot compete with other countries. They were fighting with guns and we were fighting with swords. So how can we compete with them? So to live in this world, to survive in this world, we need science because we have to compete the world. So we must develop this. In our ancient days, there also was a Pushpak Vimana. Means we were developed. There were so many types of weapons in Mahabharata. Means India was a very developed country, very advanced country. But meantime, everything has lost. Now again we have to revive that. So certainly India is going to be a great power. But then that is not our motto. To only develop material things, that is not our goal. Why India is living? India has to give spirituality to the world. The whole world is waiting for spirituality. Swamiji said the whole world is sitting on the volcano. Any moment it may burst out. So it is India and India alone can give this knowledge of Vedanta to the world. Means India can save the world. We have to become spiritual. Then we can share with other people. India is a Vishwa Guru, Jagat Guru in spirituality, not in material sciences. So here Swamiji says, India has to survive. India has to live because if India dies, all the great things will disappear. अगर कभी ऐसा हो जाए, भारत दुनिया से मिट जाए, तब होगा चारों तरफ में नैतिकता का नाश. कभी न होगा भारत का विनाश. If India dies, all the great things, all the morality, ethics will disappear from the world. World wants it. India is eternal. India is immortal. India has to survive. And to survive India, we should produce great spiritual giant. Swami Vivekananda was a great spiritual giant. He was the only monk. He was thinking of India, India's all-round growth, not only spiritual growth, even material growth also. He said empty stomach is not fit for religion. So he was thinking in both ways, to make India great in material things as well as in spiritual things. Today we are attracted towards science and we are forgetting our great culture and heritage. That should not happen. Now this external nature is giving out truth, but they cannot give us peace and happiness. Even the Einstein, what he said. He said science can denature plutonium, but science cannot denature evil in the hearts of man, declares Einstein. So Einstein says, science can denature, it can break plutonium, but science cannot remove the evil from the heart of man. Now science has developed, but you see the values are going down and down and down. Though our religion says, Dharmam chara satyam vada, Matrudevo bhava, Pitrudevo bhava, Acharya devo bhava, Atithi devo bhava. But these great values we are forgetting. So dharmam chara, you should practice dharma. Dharma is our foundation. See, we say we have 4 Purusharthas in Vedas. Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. So you say without dharma, without righteousness, without good life, how can we attain spirituality? How can we attain moksha? The Vedas never said that you should not run after the material things. They said you need earth, you need money, earn money, but not by wrong means. Not by cheating, not by exploiting. Today what we see? Science has developed, but man has gone down. People don't practice truthfulness. People don't practice unselfishness. Swami Vivekananda says, wherever there are 3 things, truth, purity and unselfishness, wherever these 3 things are there, there is no power in the nature to crush the possessor thereof. This is what Swami said. Truth, purity and unselfishness. These are the great values. And the person who possesses these 3 values, nobody can do any harm to him. He alone can fight with the whole world. So these are the things we are forgetting. We tell lies, quarrel, fighting, murder, cheating, corruption. All sorts of problems are increasing. One side science is developing, but other side man is degrading. And that is what Einstein said. Science cannot help you to remove the evils from the heart. Bhagavan Buddha had everything. But then when he went out of the palace, he was a prince. He was living in luxury. And when he went out, he saw an old man. He saw a leper. He saw a dead body. And his mind started thinking, what is this? One day I also will become old. One day I also will die. This is the fear of death. Man cannot overcome fear of death. Science cannot help us to overcome fear of death. So this is always there. Unless we know our real nature, that we are deathless, we are immortal, we are spirit, we are not the matter. So this fear will continue. And therefore Buddha, he left the palace, went in search of truth and practicing hardship, doing hard tapasya, meditation in Bodha Gaya. He realized that nirvana. And many of his disciples, many bhikshus, they were in lakhs and lakhs. They went throughout the world spreading the message of peace and happiness. They went to China, Japan, Thailand, Sri Lanka and many countries. So this is India's contribution. India cannot die. India has to survive. Why? Because these truths in human being are not yet discovered. Science had to go beyond their limitation. Science should not remain with only material progress or material sciences. So they should expand their horizon and they should see that what is hidden within man, because that is a spiritual science. When we turn our mind within, then we find there are wonderful spiritual truths which you cannot get from nature. So we have to discover, you have to go within, and within our body there is called eternal self. The self is there, the God is there. But how it is? It is a smaller than smallest. Kathopanishad says, Anuraniyan mahato mahiyan atmasya janto nihito guhaya tamakratu pashyati vita shoka dhatu prasadat mahimana atmanah. The glory of Atman. So here Upanishad says, so that Atman is smaller than the smallest, smaller than the atom, and this cannot be realized through material sciences. Science cannot go there because those truths are beyond and mind and senses, avanga manasa gochara. So there we need only mind, but not the mind what we have today. We need a very subtle mind, a very pure mind. With that concentrated and pure mind, we can realize that truth. And for that, we have to control ourselves. Without that, we will not be able to realize that truth. So when we will realize that truth, then everything will come to us. We did not have to run after material things. Because by realizing truth, whatever you want, you can get it. Because that is already within you. You want happiness. And you think that this world will give you happiness. And we run after the sense objects. And we think that we can enjoy this world and we can be satisfied. But we can never be satisfied because our desires will never be satisfied. We go on running after, we fulfill our desires, again new desires will come. Because nature of the mind and senses are always going out. They are all extrovert. So here we cannot satisfy our desires. There is a beautiful shloka. There he says, Na jatu kama kaman, that is from Bhagavata. Na jatu kama kaman upabhogena shamyati. Havisha Krishna vatmeva bhuya eva abhivardate. Desires cannot be satisfied by fulfilling them. It is like a pouring ghee in the fire. If you go on pouring in the ghee in the fire will increase. You cannot put it off. Likewise, our needs are few, our wants are many. The man has become so greedy, and the greedy man, he can never be satisfied. So, unless we are satisfied, how can we realize that truth? And as long as we run after this world, we will not realize that happiness. Because that happiness is not outside the world. You cannot purchase by giving money. That is within you. Just like a musk deer, that Kasturi Mruga runs here and there thinking that the fragrance is coming from somewhere outside. But all the time that fragrance is in his navel. But that Mruga, the deer, does not know. Nabhi mein rahte kasturi मृगभागे सब ओर रे छोड़ दे झूठे सुख की आशा करनिद अंतर खोज रे. So you find that happiness within you, the bliss within you, because it is not outside. But we are searching that happiness in the outside world. You may get that, but along with that, you have to get suffering also. Tukaram Maharaj says, Sukha pahata java evade, dukkha parvata evade. There is very little happiness and more sufferings only. But we don't realize the real happiness is within us. That we have to realize. When we realize that real happiness inside us, then we are completely satisfied. There is eternal peace in your mind. Shankaracharya says, Mano buddha hankara chittani naham, nacha shrotra jivve, nacha grana netre. न च व्यम भूमि न तेजो न वायु चिदानंद रूप शोहम शोहम. I am the blissful Atman Chidananda Rupa. That bliss is within me. So I did not have to search that bliss outside the world. But our mind and senses are always running after the things. Because God had created like that. Kathopanishad says, Paranchi khani vetrunat swayambhu tasmat parang pashyati na antaratman कश्चित धीरा प्रत्यगात्मान ऐक्षत आवृत चक्षु अमृतत्व मिच्छन. Because God has created our senses extrovert, we see only the external world, but we don't see the antaratman. But there are some heroic souls, there are some great people. They control their senses, they control their mind, they turn their mind within, and they realize that truth within themselves, and they attain that immortality. They become free from all bondages. There is no birth and death and old age and suffering. That is called freedom. And that freedom is realized only by human beings. You see, no other species can realize that. There are 80 lakh species, 80 laksha yoni, 84 laksha yoni. There are 84 lakh species. So, 84 lakhs yonis, but human being is such wonderful. In this body alone, God has given us intellect. God has given us power of discrimination. We can think what is eternal and what is temporary. And human body is fit for that. That's why Shankaracharya says in his Vivek Chudamani, Durlabam treme vaitad devanugraha hetukam Manushyatva, Mumukshitva, Mahapurush Samsaya. There are three things very difficult to get in this world, and only by the grace of God we get them. What are those three things? The first is human body, Manushyatva. We are human beings. It is a wonderful opportunity for her. It is a wonderful opportunity for us to realize that truth within ourselves. But then we are not able to do that. Our mind is going always out. So here, human life is a unique, a special gift of God. In this life only you can develop spirituality. So we have to develop science and technology. That is also needed. But we should not be satisfied only up to that. Science can give us comfort, luxuries, everything science can give us. But science cannot give us values. Just we have read that what Einstein says, the science cannot remove the evils from the mind. Because today human being full of evils. There is anger, lust, greed, we say 6 enemies. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Mada, Moha, Matsarya. So when the 6 enemies are there in our mind, and as long as these 6 enemies are there, we will not be able to realize truth. Because the mind has to be purified. All these impurities, all these evils we have to remove from the mind. And that can be removed only by spirituality. Now here, first thing we must realize that we are not only these material bodies. We should not think that we are only these limited bodies. The body is a matter. So the matter will disintegrate. One day it will go away. It is not permanent. But what is within this body, that is permanent. That is what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. Kshetra kshetrajnayo jnanam yatta jnanam matamana. इथे भगवान कृष्ण म्हणतात की I am the kshetrajna, I am the knower, I am the knower in this all bodies. Kshetrajna means knower, and the body is the field. Just like a farmer and the field. Farmer is the knower of the field. So this body is like a field. And within this body, there is a knower of the field. Beyond our mind, beyond our intellect, there is spiritual consciousness. And that consciousness in everybody, in each and every human being, we have to realize that. If we forget that and we just run after the Western science, then what will happen? See Swami Vivekananda, what he said, if you are attracted by the material things, He said, mark you, if you give up spirituality, leaving it aside to go after the materializing civilization of the West, the result will be that in 3 generations you will be an extinct race, because the backbone of the nation will be broken. The foundation upon which the national edifice has been built will be undermined, and the result will be annihilation all round. So, India should not give up this spirituality. India should not give up this Vedanta. If we give up this spiritual truth and run after material sciences, then India will be debilitated. Because this is our backbone. Religion is our backbone. And what Swamiji said, we all are essentially divine. Each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest the divinity within by a controlling nature, external and internal. Here you see Swamiji said that we are all divine. The man is divine. Man is not matter. He is not only body. But behind body there is consciousness. And that is in everybody. And that is what we have to preach to the entire world. Today we are forgetting our ideal. What we have to do? We have to spread this truth throughout the world so that even people of the world, they will know. Here Swamiji says, in every man and every animal, however weak or wicked, great or small, reside the same omnipresent, omniscient soul. Difference is not in the soul, but in the manifestation. Between me and the smallest animal, difference is only in manifestation. But as a principle, he is the same as I am. He is my brother. He has the same soul as I have. This is the greatest principle that India has to preach the world. This is the principle that we are all one. There is one consciousness in all of us. In spite of race, religion, gender, we are all equal. Because same soul dwells in the hearts of everybody. So we have to preach this truth to the world. Today the world is lacking. When we preach this truth, then only we will love each other. Because we know that other man is not different from me. The same Atman which is within me also is other person also. So the all wickedness will go away from the world. When we realize that we are all brothers, that's what Swamiji said in America, sisters and brothers of America, and they could feel that really we are one. There is universal brotherhood. We are not separate. But this politics is separating the people in the name of religion, in the name of caste, in the name of so many divisions. Rich or poor or black and white. But behind everything there is only one consciousness, undivided. That is the truth, and that is in everybody, and that is India's contribution to the world, to preach the truth, the divinity of man. They are all eternal truth. Man is essentially immortal. There is no death for him. But he thinks that he is only body, and when he gets attached to the body, all sorts of problems will come. So the first thing, we must learn to forget this body. When we forget that we are the body, we are not the body, we are the self, then only we can develop spiritually. Swamiji said, the dead body resents nothing. Let us make our bodies dead and cease to identify ourselves with them. It is the horrible body idea that breeds all the selfishness in the world. This body idea only will make us more and more selfish. So here, we have to live in this world. We have to have minimum comforts to survive. But at the same time, we should try to realize our divine nature. Sri Ramakrishna says, live in this world. Because everybody is living in samsara. We cannot go away. Just like a boat live in the water. But water should not enter in the boat. If the water enter in the boat will collapse. Boat will get down. So here live in this world. but live unattached. Don't get attached to anything, because if you get attached to things, then you may get everything, but you will not get eternal peace. When Alexander came to India, the great Alexander, the emperor, he went to Himalayas. There was one great sage. He was very happy. Alexander saw this man very, very poor. He has nothing to possess, and he is so joyous and so happy. Alexander says, "What is the cause of your happiness? You don't have anything, but you are so happy. Please come with me. You teach me this science, so that I also will be happy." That yogi said, "No, my dear king, I cannot come with you. Why? I will provide you all comforts. You will live in the palace. Everything will be available. Every care will be taken off. Why don't you come?" Said, "I don't need all your comforts and palace and everything. I am quite happy in the jungle." Then Alexander became angry. He took out his sword and he said, "If you don't come with me, I will kill you." Then that yogi started laughing. "My dear king, you are telling a greatest lie in your life. How can you kill me? You can kill my body, but you cannot kill me. I am not a body. I am that immortal self. I am not attached to the body." Then Alexander realized how this man is able to face even death. He is not afraid of death, because he has realized that death cannot frighten him. He is not the body, he is beyond the body. So therefore live in this world, but don't get attached to anything. Don't get attached to body. Don't pamper this body. There is a wonderful story. One Yajnavalkya, he was taking classes for students. And when Yajnavalkya was taking classes, many sadhus were sitting. And Yajnavalkya was waiting. They all said, "Gurudev, why you are waiting? You can start." Then Yajnavalkya said, "The king Janaka has not yet come." He was a king, Janak. He used to attend the classes on Upanishad. He did not come. Then this sannyasi said, "Why you are bothered about him? He is a householder. He is a king, he is a Raja. Why, what does he know about this? So you can start, don't wait for him." But Yajnavalkya, he was waiting. Ultimately, Janak Raja came. And then Upanishad started. And Yajnavalkya wanted to test. So the fire started burning. His entire palace was burning. The palace started burning, and nearby huts were there. All the sannyasis sitting there, they constructed their huts nearby the palace. So they were all sitting there, and those huts also started burning. All the sannyasis ran away. They wanted to save their huts. They started removing their clothes and vessels and all these things. Janak Raja was meditating, quietly sitting. Yajnavalkya said, "Janaka, your palace is burning. You are not worried, you are sitting here." He said, "When I come to the class of Upanishad, I forget this world. This palace is nothing for me. Let it burn. I am not going to lose anything, because I know the truth. Everything is temporary, everything is unreal." Then all the sadhus came, and then Yajnavalkya said, "See why I was waiting for Janaka. You people ran away to protect your small hut, but Janaka's palace was burning, but he did not care. He is not attached to the palace. He was sitting here and he was listening Upanishad. So you see, he was not attached to anything. Though he was a king, he was living in the world, he was doing his duties, but he knew that everything is unreal. So we should not get attached to it. Only our attachment is cause of all our sufferings. So you can have everything, just like a Buddha. He was a prince, but then he left everything. He realized that all these things are after all temporary, unreal, perishable. One day everything will disappear, nothing will remain. Keeping this truth in your mind, if you live in this world, there is no harm in that. There is a wonderful story in Janaka's life. One day Janaka was sleeping and he had a wonderful dream. In that dream he saw the enemy came and conquered his kingdom, and they were in search of king Janaka. Now when Janaka came to know that we have lost our kingdom, what to do? So he put on the beggar's cloth, and there was a underground way. So underground way, he had entered in that cave, and underground he went, and that opened in the jungle. So he went to jungle. There are underground pathway. So he went to the jungle. There he saw one ashrama. In ashrama many sadhus were there, and he was very hungry. He said, "Can you give me some food?" He said, "You are coming in such a odd time. We have finished our food. Now 4 o'clock, but there is some remaining." So they remove this khichdi from the spot and gave to him. He was about to eat. That time one kite has come, and the kite took away that drone, that vessel, and the Janak Raja was weeping. "Arey, I am hungry. I got somehow a little food, but that also is gone." Then he came back from the dream. He got awakened. When that dream went away, he woke up. He saw he was sleeping in the palace. Beautiful bed was there. Everything was there. He did not realize what happened to me. How I was weeping. How I was trying to get little food. Then he invited all pandits and he questioned them. "You see, I had a dream, and there I saw. Not what I saw there, that is true, or this is true. Now you have to tell me." He is not telling that what he has seen. He said, "Whether that is true or this is true, you tell me." Pandit were not able to answer his question, or they do not know what he has seen in dream. So they were there. Now already night. But they say, "Unless you answer my question, you will not be allowed to go from here." In those pandits, there was Ashtavakra's father. So Ashtavakra came and he asked that Janaka, "Why these pandits are there? Why you are not leaving them?" He said, "They are not able to answer my question, whether that is true or this is true." Then Ashtavakra said, "I will answer your question, let them go." Then Ashtavakra said, "My dear king, what you have seen in the dream, that is also not true, and what you are seeing today in waking state, that is also not true. But you are real. That is not real, this is not real, but you are real, because you have seen that state. You have seen dream also, and you are seeing this waking world. So you are the witness of the dream and witness of the waking state. So you are real. These states are temporary. They are unreal. So this Atman of man within this body is always witness. He is watching everything. The Atman is watching, that consciousness is watching your mind, your intellect, his body, your senses. Even sleep also he is awake. That's why Shankara says, "Asti kashi swayam nityam aham pratyalambana avastatraya sakshi san panchakosha vilakshanaha." This aham brahmasmi, I am the Atman. That aham is separate from 3 stages, Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, and different from 5 koshas. Annamaya kosha, pranamaya kosha, manomaya kosha, vidnyanamaya kosha, anandamaya kosha. This Atman is separate from these 5 koshas. So that is within. Now how to realize that? Swami Vivekananda said, each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest this divinity by controlling nature, external and internal. This is the way. External nature, our senses are running after object, so we have to control this our senses. Internal world means our mind running after those things, our thoughts, so we have to control our thoughts also. Means by controlling senses and by controlling mind, we can realize that truth. We should not allow them to go out. How to do that? How to control nature, external and internal? Antare bahire yuddhata prasanga Tukaram Maharaj says. So for that we have yogas. In Bhagavad Gita there are 18 yogas. Yoga means the sadhana, the way, the method of realizing that truth. How to realize? By practicing yoga. Now just we had a yoga day. 21st June there was a yoga day. People were practicing yoga throughout the world. International Yoga Day. Now yoga means not only physical exercises. Yoga has a different meaning. Patanjali has given Ashtanga Yoga. Bhagavan Buddha also given the Ashtanga Yoga. So this Ashtanga Yoga means how to realize that truth within ourselves. And there are 8 steps are there, 8-fold yoga. So Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan and Samadhi. This is called the Ashtanga Yoga. So first Yama and Niyama means leading a moral and ethical life. Without that we cannot attain Samadhi. We cannot realize our real nature. People want to practice meditation. They say we want to learn meditation, but they don't want to practice moral and ethical values. How can they realize truth? Here Patanjali says, Yamaya Niyama, 5 Yam, 5 Niyam. Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya, Aparigraha, Shaucha, Santosha, Tapa, Swadhyaya, Ishvara Pranidhana. These are all moral values. These 2 stages, Yam, Niyam, then comes Asana, then Pranayam. We don't care for these things. We don't practice truthfulness, we don't practice righteousness, and we don't practice unselfishness, and we want to go to the Samadhi. We want to realize our truth, how it is possible. So there Swami Vivekananda has given us 4 yoga. Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raja Yoga, Jnana Yoga. So we have to combine all the 4 yogas, because this is the way to realize that truth. And that not just by reading, we have to put into practice, because this is also a science. Without practicing, we cannot blame that there is nothing, there is no Atman, there is no God. Any science needs practice. First we have to believe. Even the scientists, first they believe, then they started their search, they started their research, and then they could realize that. So first we have faith that there is something within me. Then we have to practice all this sadhana. Then only we can realize that. Without practicing sadhana, if we say there is nothing, that means we are not very sincere. So we have to be sincere sadhakas. By controlling body, mind, senses, and by practicing moral and ethical values, by practicing meditation and prayer, then we can realize. Many people have realized. Even Anal Haq, Mansur Ali says, I am God, I am Brahman. That in a Muslim, Sufi Muslim, he could realize that truth. Socrates could realize that truth. So anybody can realize. It's a universal. Any person, anywhere can realize truth. Those people are interested to know the truth. If there is desire that I should become free, desire to become free, if there is spirit of detachment, then we are certainly fit for realizing that higher truth. So by knowing that truth, that is spiritual truth, and by practicing material truth, means by developing science and technology, and by practicing spiritual sadhana, we will make India great. So every Indian should know this is our responsibility. We have to become spiritual. That is our ultimate goal of life. But to lead a comfortable life, we need science and technology, We should not suffer, we should not live in poverty, lead a comfortable life, but don't be satisfied there. Try to go beyond that, try to realize the higher truth, and then you will get eternal peace, eternal happiness, eternal freedom. Then no more birth and death and old age and suffering. That is what spirituality will give us. So we have to combine material science and spiritual science for all-round development of humankind throughout the world. This was the idea Swamiji has preached, Sri Ramakrishna has preached, and even today our scientists, many scientists are spiritual. They are trying their best to know what is the truth about man. So we have to find out the truth about man. Our sages, they have found out, they have realized, and therefore we also can do. But only we should have faith first. If we don't believe in anything, because those are all subtle things, you cannot see your senses. And there we have to experience. In science you have to experiment, but in spiritual science you have to experience. So unless you experience, you will not be able to show others what is spirituality. And that is cannot be shown. You cannot say I am a spiritual. You yourself will realize what is real truth. And then you will not pay much attention to this material world, because you know this is all perishable. It is whatever it may be, so much of wealth and luxury and everything, even body also, beautiful body, healthy body. But one day everything will go away. We will not be able to carry anything with us. Whatever good karma we do, whatever spiritual progress we made, if we realize truth, then all sufferings will end once for all, and you will enjoy the bliss of Atman eternally. This is what our great people have taught us. So science and spirituality we have to combine in our life to become a complete human beings, a real human beings. That is the ideal of India. So my dear friends, patiently you are hearing my talk. I am grateful to you, and again I am grateful to the Vidnyan Bharati for inviting me for this function. This is 6th Adhivesan of Vidnyan Bharati, and many great people are present here. So I am grateful for them for giving opportunity. So I conclude my talk here. Thank you very much. Namaskar. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashyid Dukha Bhag Bhavet Ma Kashyid Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tassat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.